Where paths met and offerings left, a triple figure rose from darkness. This is Hecate, an enigmatic goddess rooted in Greek mythology with profound significance transcending time and cultures. Capable of both good and evil, Hecate has been primarily remembered for her association with fierce creatures which roam the darkness of night and the liminal realms between life and death. Throughout history, however, her sphere of influence also included the darker side of the human experience, that is death, nightmares, crossroads, magic and necromancy. Although Hecate was once considered to be a powerful Greek goddess of witchcraft, she was not a major deity when compared to the 12 Olympians. Therefore, even though there are just a few myths that revolve around her, she was crucial in the Greek story that relates the abduction of Persephone. It is from this myth that a quintessential representation of Hecate as the goddess holding a flaming torch came from. Believed to be the daughter of Perses and Asteria, both of whom were from the second generation of Titans, her essence is aligned with celestial phenomena and the mysteries of the night sky. This cosmic connection establishes her as a goddess presiding over the mystical and the hidden aspects of existence. Hecate, whose name came from the Greek word Hekatos, meaning worker from afar, had the power not only to bestow upon those she favored wealth, good fortune and wisdom, but also to restrict these gifts from people she deemed unworthy. During the Titanomachy, she sided with the Olympians and was the only member of the old regime who kept her powers following the defeat of the Titans. Hecate had many different roles, so because of her extensive powers, she has been confused and identified with several other deities such as Artemis, who was portrayed in a similar fashion with boots, torches and dogs. Some academics have argued that since there was a little mention of her in Hesiod's Theogony, the ancient Greek poet was from a city where Hecate had a substantial following, and his writing helped promoting her cult. Hecate originated in southwestern corner of Asia Minor, where she would have been worshipped as a principal divinity, but she was introduced to Greece as a goddess who was honored in private cults. Although Homer makes no mention of her because of the private nature of her worship, the Theogony devotes a surprisingly long and fervent passage to the praise of Hecate and her manifold powers. Hesiod declares that she bestows all manner of gifts upon worshippers who enjoy her favor, and that Zeus himself granted her exceptional privileges in spite of her Titan birth. Unfortunately, there are not many Greek stories about the goddess Hecate. Nevertheless, she is involved in the myth of Persephone's abduction, and is even mentioned in Homer's version of the myth, which is known as the Homeric Hymn to Demeter. According to the poet, Hecate was the only deity apart from the sun god Helios who witnessed the abduction of Persephone. So when Demeter went searching for her daughter, Hecate went along with flaming torches in both hands. After Persephone was found, she became her attendant and companion from that time forward. Since then, the notion that Hecate was an underworld deity due to her association with Persephone became common. She started appearing in Greek literature from around the 5th century, before which she was only a minor figure featuring in the stories of Demeter and Artemis. Now the goddess Hecate is portrayed as a young woman carrying a torch or a key, reminders of her function as a night divinity, a guardian of the gates of Hades and a goddess of boundaries. Initially going by the name Queen of the Ghost, Hecate was represented as a single-formed goddess of crossroads, because they were regarded as great centers of ghostly and magical activity in modern folklore. And while she's frequently shown holding flaming torches, a clear reference to the role she played in the myth of Persephone, she was then depicted as a triple-formed divinity with 3 bodies standing back to back, which allow her to look simultaneously in all directions that meet at the point where she's standing from and where choices were made. This embodiment reflected her role in life's transitions and transformations, not just in the physical world but also in one's spiritual journey. It became common practice to place images of Hecate in city walls, particularly at the entrances to sacred places and doorways of private homes to ward off evil spirits. As an in-betweener, she was necessary at the border between life and death, for she owned the keys that opened the gates dividing the 2 realms. This was an exceptionally powerful role as one who is able to move between the living and the dead, thus controlling the destiny of others. Eventually, Hecate's power was reduced and her sphere of influence became far more specific. Over time, she morphed until becoming the goddess of witches, appearing at crossroads under the dim light of the moon to hunt the pathways with her crew of otherworldly spirits. Her retinue, known as the host of Hecate, was made up of restless dead who went through premature and violent death, or had received no proper burial. Since she was accompanied by loud barking demonic dogs, her passage bears a resemblance to the wild hunt of Western European folklore. The goddess and her night-wandering companions would inflict madness on mortals who encountered them, and was certainly a source of night terrors and bad dreams. As a result, she is best remembered as a mystical goddess of witchcraft, magic and sorcery. To pacify Hecate and her host, and so to keep them at a safe distance, the Greeks would perform unusual rituals called the Supper of Hecate, which involved sacrifices and offerings of food each month on the night of a new moon. This lunar association imbued her with more layers of mystery, especially during its darker phases, portraying the veiled aspects of life. Dogs were often sacrificed to Hecate, especially puppies. This practice may come from the fact that they were known for eating unburied bodies, and of course, they also howl at the moon. Moreover, dogs are usually seen as loyal and protective guardians, just like Hecate was for those who search for her guidance. A further connection may be her influence in the guidance of souls to the underworld, which led many thinking that the Hound of Hades might be an early form of Hecate. There is a little in the way of the mythological tradition of Hecate, but she was often summoned by whoever practiced witchcraft like magicians and sorcerers for their own nefarious purposes. The reverence of the goddess Hecate has been brought back to life by modern practitioners of magic, honoring her as a patroness of magic and transformation. Her image has become a focal point for those who embrace their own strength and autonomy, navigating life's intersections with wisdom and resilience. These days, the goddess Hecate, or the triple goddess, has become an archetype within the pantheon of modern-day neo-pagans. Her journey from the past to the present reveals her timeless appeal. As a symbol of feminine power and a guide through life's enigmas, she embodies the mystique of the hidden and profound. Her legacy stands as a testament to the enduring potency of the goddess archetype and its ability to traverse time and inspire across generations. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video about the goddess Hecate, a famous mythological figure when it comes to magic and witchcraft cross cultures. So see you in another episode. And as always, stay curious.